So I was just what do you call it? I was just walking to the car, and this little kid was sitting in the back seat, pretending to be a thug. And then when I looked at him, and to double check that he was acting like a like a grown man, mean like a grown man, acting like a grown man and using intimidation like he was a grown ass man. And when I tried to look at him to double check, his mom looked at me like I was crazy. Well, not looked at me like I was crazy, looked at me like I was instigating something with their son by looking at him in a way that was double checking his appearance. So, you know how people take a double look to double check that they're seeing an expression that they thought they were seeing? That's what I was doing. And then his mom looked at me like I was causing a problem in a split, like that split second. So it was going to be an altercation where I would have a hard time explaining that her son was acting like he was a gangster in the back seat. And that was why I was looking at it. And she'll probably be like, my son don't act like that, blah, 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 blah. But she's literally probably grooming her kid to do exactly what he did. And then lying to me and anybody else that shows up like she ain't got nothing to do with that. But that's exactly what that kid just did. And that's exactly what that woman was trying to get an altercation to take place. Was trying to get me to interact with them, say or do anything to them, even though that child was expressing himself in a very, very inappropriate way, like he was an adult. And I'm sure this scenario is played out across the country in like little ghetto or small parking lots just like this, where people don't have time to speak or time to explain themselves, but they will but the sophistication of what happened would require a explanation that takes time to talk about, or somebody ends up dead, or somebody ends up lied on. Like, I'm the one who wants to start an altercation with somebody, but I don't want to start an altercation. I want to eat my Subway, get onto my fundraiser, and keep going. But you can't ignore the fact that there's a child who is intimidating you or acting like a 25 or 30-year-old man in the backseat of a car to test you to see if you're scared. So now the story is, I'm scared of a 5-year-old who was just pretending to be an adult, and I'm also scared of being lied on, of someone lying. Like, can I handle another lie about the past, and if I had to argue to someone else what I just experienced? Can I handle somebody else in the community lying about what actually happened and me? So, and with in regards to my behavior or the words or something that happened with me that involves me, can I handle another lie? Or could I handle the woman saying, my son is a good kid, he would never do nothing like that, I don't know, he came over here talking and saying my son was in the backseat doing something, my son ain't that type of person, blah, blah, blah. You know how black people get? They start lying ridiculously, and their kids are in the backseat doing exactly what you said they were doing. Their kids, they're being groomed by the parents to do exactly what they said they were doing to prove that gay people are more dominant and straight people are scared and that gay people are superior. So those gangsters, the only reason why they act tough or they say they're hard is because there are no consequences for them. So they're not afraid to do things straight people are afraid to do to hurt people. So the toughest person in society is the one that isn't afraid to go to jail. The toughest person in society is the one who'll pull the trigger, or rape some girl, or intimidate some girl because they're in a gang, or they're not scared to go to jail, or they break the law. And they break the law because prison isn't a consequence. And prison isn't a consequence because they'll have sex with dudes in the joint. They'll either do it at that time or right after they get out of prison, they'll go have sex with dudes. If anybody's looking, or if anybody's watching them to see if they're in the gay community, they hide it. They wait until no one's looking. And gay people make sure that that person pays that price too. So at some point they'll be hounded by gay people when no one's looking. And that's what that little boy just did. And that's what these grown men will do. So he did something a 25 or 30-year-old man would probably be doing while sitting in his car watching you come out of a restaurant or coming out of a gas station. Just sit there and intimidate you, like make you afraid for your life. And then leave you to test to approach him or to confront him. But in the end, you got to remember that the dude who is gay has no consequences. So if you test that person, you're the one that's going to get hurt. So it was what that kid just did, and what his mother just tried to do was to get me to confront them and then have an altercation that led to either police involvement, me being kicked out, trespassed, or offended by gay community police officers. So gay police officers would have shown up dressed up like or pretending to be heterosexual, but they would have been gay, and they would have just said, you need to leave, or they want you out of the property. Some type of police involvement, because her son decided to intimidate me and to get me to ask his mother or say something to him or his mother about his expressions from the backseat of that car. So that's what these people just wanted to do. That's what these people wanted to happen. A police altercation or something to have me arrested or have me hurt, prison, or badly injured. So that's gay people. That is how gay people operate. They instigate an altercation, and they lie very well, or lie multiple times very quickly, and that requires, and if you have an implant in your body preventing you from explaining yourself, it requires a lot of effort to clarify what just happened. And police, they don't investigate in acts of intimidation. What they'll do is pick a side, and they usually pick the side with gay community members, whatever side gay people take, because cops are scared to fight or arrest people in the gay community. Most of the times when police officers show up and there's a dispute between straight people and gay people, most cops automatically recognize who is gay and who is not. And they'll pick the side of the gay people because they want gay people to continue. Or because the police officers who responded were gay. And they already know the game. They know that somebody in the community is being targeted. It may not be me, it could be anybody. Somebody is being targeted. And they use people in the community like this, people who help them, to start the lie. Start the altercation that police officers can use to arrest somebody or hurt that person's feelings, so that when they arrive, say or do something that's injustice, an act of injustice, to further insult that person and hope that an altercation takes place, and then they can arrest and take somebody to jail. So they use one insult after another, one lie after another, to aggravate somebody, to cause an altercation that leads to an arrest or somebody getting badly hurt, or a mistake being made by the victim in this situation. would be me or somebody else. But it's a repeat of history. You repeat history. To get rid of somebody, you insult them, you lie about them, you intimidate them, you get them to act violently because they decided to do something to you at a distance. It's a distance, but you recognize an expression of intimidation regardless of where it comes from and how inappropriate it is. And then the mother instantaneously looking at you because you double check to see the child's expression in a way that leads to an altercation. The expression on that woman. If you were here with me now, you would know the expression on her face was one where I'm about to say or do something to you because you are, from my opinion, looking at my kid. But she's ignoring that her kid's in the back seat expressing intimidation like he was a 20 or 30-year-old man. And then they play stupid. Now, for the last 11 minutes, they've been playing innocent. The kid hasn't even looked over here once. Playing like they have no idea what's going on, or like they didn't have anything to do with anything I just said that took me 12 minutes to say it because I have an implant in my body. But the reality is the relativity is that kid was in the back seat expressing intimidation, and when I double checked to look at him to see if I was seeing the right expressions, his mother stared at my face like I was somebody who initiated contact initiated this interaction. I did not initiate the interaction. I don't want anything to do with the kid. It was just, I was walking to my car with my drink, ready to leave, and I can clearly see there's a person moving. That was a person in the backseat of the car, either moved or something. I looked up and I seen the expression of intimidation like you would see at a gas station, and those the thug expression that you sometimes come across when you leave a gas station, leave a restaurant, and there's somebody outside who has a problem with you. So that's what they just did. They think they slick. I'm gonna post this and tell you guys about it. That this is how people hurt other people and play like the victims. So you intimidate somebody, you initiate an interaction, and whatever their reaction is, you use it to lie. Use it to help you make them look like the bad guy. So whatever they choose to do, if they say something, if they do something back, use it to make them look like the bad guy. So if I were to say, hey, your son's over there trying to intimidate me, she would have probably said, nah, that's not my son. He don't do nothing like that. I don't know what you talking about. I don't know what you on. What's your problem? You need to just go on. Now that all of that, it sounds like lies, intimidation, and injustice, and the illogical behavior from what normally happens, right? And that's how you get an altercation to occur, because something illogical took place, and it's hard to prove that these people are lying. And they're working together. This mother-son team are working together to get rid of somebody in the community who's not gay. And because she's raising her boy to be gay and pretend to be heterosexual. So replace straight dudes. Groom their kids to be gay and replace the straight kids in the community. Yep, that's them. That's what they tried to do. So I got here first. I was just sitting here eating my food. I came over here, and that's who was parked right next to me. Those people. Gay people. That's the not the bright red, white, bright orange, bright colored wearing gay people. That's the gay community right there. And they tell you they're gay. They tell you they're in the gay community. They call themselves hard, the mother of hard kids, hard daddies, gay people, gay men. And they dress it up to look cool or look like it's ghetto or like thuggish, but it's gay. Another gay community freedom. Well, it's not the he, she, or the what do you call that? It's not the gay community that is advertised as you know it, but it's the gay community that's hiding in plain view. That's the gay community I'm talking about. So this is the other team up. So if you use an implant, you can coordinate. So they couldn't get the altercation to take place. She couldn't get me to have an altercation. So now what do you resort to? You resort to police officers. Use police to just violate someone's rights. So you still get what you want. You either get somebody hurt or get them in prison. All right, I gotta go. But like I was saying, that's what just happened. That woman tried to cause an altercation. It didn't work. Now I'm sure police departments are gonna just try to violate my civil rights to get the altercation, to get somebody arrested. But that's gay people, man. If you didn't know that gay people don't always dress up like the opposite sex or advertise that they're gay, a good explanation or a good key appearance would be thugs or women who have sex with thugs, who wear those, get their hair did, funny colors, dread, twisted up, braided, and tight wearing clothes and high heels and lipstick and all that makeup and stuff. Those are the women, the well-paid women from gay community members that are thugs, that dress up like thugs every day. They like getting ass fucked. That's what those girls do. They play with their butts. All the twerking, all the booty shaking, all the YouTube videos of the girls with the big butts. It's because these girls are having anal sex and they're telling dudes, they're advertising to dudes that you can stick it in their butts. And the gay community knows that they can trust those girls, or they feel good that there are more girls twerking and booty shaking, twerking and advertising their butts, so that more people get the idea that anal sex is what everybody is doing. But anyways, so my whole life, I didn't know that the family I grew up with practiced anal sex. So I would go to a place where a woman like that, the woman you saw in the video that was the mother of that boy, at the parties, at the family get-togethers, they were all dressing up nice and pretty and all that, but they were all dressing the same. And the same style of clothing was an indication that they were gay. That they were in a gang or a culture, a gay culture. That they all practiced the gay culture. So that was me as a kid, being raised around gay people without knowing it. Raised in a gay culture, a gay community, without knowing that everybody there was gay. So I was being groomed. But that wouldn't have worked. I wasn't going to play with nobody's butt or be a slave to a culture that hurt people or shared your wife or shared baby mamas. I wasn't going to be a part of the culture that would do something like that. So they what do you call that? When you refuse to join the gay culture, you get hurt by your own family members. Your family disowns you, or because you shame them in the gay community, whether you know it or not. Because you refuse to join the gay community, you make them look weak, like you not hard like they hard, or you not with the same, you not on the same page as the rest of your family. So what I learned was that over time your family starts to treat you poorly because you're not gay, but they may not tell you that up front because they don't want you to go tell nobody else. So you just wondering why people are mistreating you, and until you start getting hit on regularly by gay people, and you're still being mistreated by your family. And that's gay culture. That is how gay people raise their children. If their children don't want to be gay, they just mistreat them without telling them why, until one day they get it. It's because they're not gay. And the experiences came from sexual offers that you refused, and it being called gay constantly. Now the mistreatment and the name calling go hand in hand, and since you aren't gay, you know you aren't gay, the mistreatment is out of place. You learn they're mistreating you because you refuse to have sex with gay people. Then you learn what gay people look like. Then you learn your family members look just like those people. Then you learn your family members are gay. Then you learn that you were being treated poorly because you weren't like your family. And that's how you groom somebody and scare somebody to join the gay community. You tell them, you intimidate them, you make them fear for their lives all the time. And when you do that, you convince them, you can convince them to have sex with gay people in order to feel safe. And that's what that little boy did. And then his mother was going to support his actions because she groomed him to do that. Of course she knows her son is doing that. Where else would he learn to do that? Where else did he learn to act like that? Or his daddy taught him that he was superior than straight boys, or to practice on scaring grown-ups. And they just told me with an implant in my ears that if you nothing you just said, all the truth you just said don't change that we can't kill you, that you can't be touched, that don't make you bulletproof. That's what they just said in my ears. You telling does not change that we can still kill you. I didn't say that. I said what I've always said, and I hope you understand this, is that our greatest strength is our freedom. For people, for mankind, your greatest strength is your freedom. Your freedom to tell when someone is doing something to you, whether you are alive or dead, is your greatest strength. That's how you protect the next person, or you protect yourself. The what happened to you, it was not supposed to happen. You were not supposed to die. You were not supposed to be raped. You were not supposed to be hurt. And your freedom involves your ability to live without fear. And the gay community knows that fear is a good tool to control freedom. And these thugs, these people with implants, just told me that we can still kill you. We don't care how smart you are. We will still kill you. Or we are debating. We're in a mode of debate about whether or not it'd be right to kill someone as smart as you. And that's what that's what they're projecting into my eyes and saying into my ears. And the fact is, what was I saying? That your freedom to speak for yourself is your greatest strength. And it does, even when you're alive, you can do that. And when you're dead, you still speak for yourself. What happened to your body, whatever, people will hear your story from your corpse. Your body speaks for you, because of how you died, or that you're dead. You still tell a story. So dead men still speak. And so I'm gonna post this video and explain that gay people will rape and murder you if you refuse to have sex with them. And they'll either use technology, they'll use intelligence, they'll use guns, they'll use your friends, they'll use your family. It's not every gay community member, but there are numerous gay people who don't wear gay community colors everywhere they go, but they are gay and they will commit rape. They will commit murder because you refuse to have sex with them, and to prove a point to the rest of their kids, to the other kids in the gay community, that if you're not gay, this is what happens to you. They'll make an example out of me or somebody else when they feel like it. And I'm not exaggerating. There is an implant in my body, and I can hear people talking like just all the time. They've been telling for years, and they are electrocuting my genitals. They are interfering with my ability to speak. And everything I just said about that kid in that parking lot was completely true. That kid did exactly what I just said, and his mother was about to lie to support him. And those people were in the gay community, and they reminded me, and they keep teaching me that the people I grew up with my entire life were in the gay community, just like them. And they tell people, they broadcast that they're gay without using that specific word to tell people who they are. They don't use the word gay. They call it hard. Being hard is being gay. Being willing to have sex with a dude to get what you need, to get a car, a house, a fancy apartment, or what do you call that? The things you want, shoes, necklaces. They usually having sex with some gay dude in the community that has the money, that got it from somebody else who was gay. It's like a long line of payments. You might not get the biggest payout because there's a lot of people that they need to be gay, but it's like a path, economic path that benefits people in the gay community, used in small in everyday, as a normal part of life, or in the gay community, or for people. So I'm gonna post this, and I hope this helps somebody in the future, or helps other people in the future. But it is a horrible system that gay people or gay community members from I don't know how long ago, maybe 50, 60, 70, 100 years, 200 years ago, developed to manipulate people to join the gay community or punish them with intelligently in order to not be caught for centuries. Or maybe people do know and they're just too scared to say anything, or maybe people gay people did the second best thing they could do, and it's protect themselves from being told on. So they turned themselves into victims over and over again for so long that there are many hurdles to label them as bad people because of all the history of gay community members hurting themselves to gain the protections and civilization that they have. and it's a joke that no one's seen through the crap, or no one's been teaching children born in gay families that their family is gay. Watching someone who is clearly not participating in gay culture being raised by gay people, and you know that child has no idea that their family is gay, has got to be the first sign that the community is allowing this entire scenario to be a part of civilization, or be a part of the community at large, which is awful. You should see the signs thousands of times, but people are scared of gay people. So those people who pretend to be hard, the men and women who fight randomly, pull hair, and act like they're uneducated. They're intelligent. They're not uneducated, and they have access to funds. They know exactly where to go to get money, drugs, or anything they need when they need it. So don't believe that they're poor for nothing. They're resourceful. They're pretending. And they're acting like they don't need, living without, but knowing exactly where to go whenever they need anything. And I think the gay community is been abusing children, and people have been afraid to step in to help those kids, because of all the people who claim to be hard in the community. The people willing to go to jail like there's no consequences whatsoever to them, are scaring people who are afraid to go to jail, who are afraid to lose their lives, into not involving themselves in the gay culture, even when it's obvious some child is being groomed to do things they don't want to do, or being raped, or potentially could be murdered. But I solved this problem with the advanced weightlifting system, and I think that's the major reason why it's not being shared with the public, and it's because people don't want, or people are afraid that if they build something that will end gay culture, it will start a reaction that gay people know is on the way, and they'll strike or start hurting people, because they know their culture is ending. And when they know that the culture of violence and intimidation is coming to an end, they'll start to fight back, or act like there are no consequences for them all the time. So instead of occasionally, when they're ready to hurt somebody really bad, they'll start acting like they're ready to hurt somebody at all times. So there'll be more acts of violence, instead of what you would think would be a slow and steady end to the violence. There'll be a sudden outbreak or whatever from the gay community, from people who call themselves hard, to establish a fight. It's not like going to be a war. It's more like you can't have a war without a declaration. You can't be a soldier without a declaration of who you are. These people are just criminals, rapists and murderers, practicing a culture that was based on a lie. Gay culture was based on a lie to control people for sexual purposes, and to continue to have act like people are slaves, like people have no freedom. And it's the gay community that believes in this culture of lies that are scaring people. And my machine is supposed to make people fearless for good cause. They have adapted for great density, bone and muscle density, and healing abilities. And this machine will make them make it very hard to kill these people. So they'll live long enough to tell. They'll live long enough to not be hurt. They'll live long enough for help to arrive when people start shooting. And the people who are shooting will look like criminals, because there's no justification for it, and they'll all be the gay community. So the thugs that only kill for certain reasons will be killing people for no reason except that person is not gay. And that's what the outcome is always going to end up. Was always going to end up these dudes calling themselves hard and violent and drug dealers are going to end up being pointed out as gay, which they always were. They were gay the whole time. That's what their backbone was. Homosexuality. They always felt like if no matter what they do to me, I can have sex with a man in prison. At the end of the day, or I'm not scared to have sex with a dude. That's their backbone. Prison is not a consequence for them. And they got family members out here collecting or who still have money or will send them money in prison. They don't need a lot. So it's just like one freedom for the next. Prison is another freedom or a different freedom. It's the same. One freedom is another freedom. Freedom outside of prison is the same freedom inside of prison. And that's what gay people believe in. The same, that there's no difference in freedom in prison and the freedom outside of prison. And that's what that little boy just tried to scare me. He tried to scare me into going to prison or being hurt by him and his mother with another lie or police interaction that led to an altercation for incarceration or some type of citation or civil rights violation. Something. But like I was saying, I'm building a machine that's going to give people the physiological adaptations that prevent them from ever being hurt easily. It would be very, very, very hard to hurt an advanced weightlifter. And that's what I'm trying to build, so that good people don't get killed for doing the right thing ever again. And gay people get in trouble for raping or murdering the children they gave birth to who refused to grow up to be gay.